The worst thing about Trump's presidency isn't what we've learned about Trump. At least for me, it's what I've learned about people that I thought had it together. People that were able to process rational thought. It's interesting because we could disagree on policy, we could disagree on process, we could disagree on ideas, right? I mean, everybody has different ideas. That's why there's two parties. That's why there's a conservative side and a liberal side, and then you got the ultra right and you got the ultra left, and whatnot. We could, all that stuff is just true. But when I see people just not able to process reality and thought, and they get caught up in a narrative that has been pounded and pounded by a media that was out to destroy Trump from day one. That when Trump came down the escalator, remember, before Trump came down the escalator, people loved him. Hollywood loved him. He was on The View just months before coming down the escalator. And they loved him. They hugged him. The audience gave him a standing ovation. Oprah Winfrey loved Donald Trump. What changed? Well, now you had a man who was very powerful, a billionaire running for president, who wasn't beholden to any special interest. There were no strings attached to Donald Trump. And folks, that's a no-no in Washington, right? Because the special interest put their money back in your campaign and back in your candidacy and backing your whenever you're in office, and they expect favors. Trump had none of that. He paid his own way. They could not control him, so they had to destroy him. And from the whole fake narrative of the Russian collusion, remember the dossier that was actually created by the Hillary Clinton campaign, the spying that went on from the Obama presidency, from his administration, his spying on the Trump's campaign, all that stuff. And then everything that has happened to Trump since, nothing has stuck. Now, I get it. He's a rough character, right? He says it the way it is. If you hit him, he's going to hit you 10 times worse. Okay? He's a New York businessman. He's a New York realtor developer. So yeah, he can hit pretty hard. So I mean, Trump didn't do himself any favors by not sometimes, just shutting his mouth. But when I see a woman, I saw a woman on here, I posted a video, you could pull it up, it's in my profile, where she just says, I don't hate anybody more than I hate Donald Trump. I hate his guts. I just despise him. It's like, where does that come from? Does she not realize that says more about her than anything she could say about Donald Trump? Trump's a racist. Do you know Trump was the first person to pledge campaign funds to Jesse Jackson when Jesse Jackson ran for president in the 90s? Trump was the first person that pledged money to his campaign. Would a racist do that? There's video of him yucking it up with the Al Sharptons and all these, black leaders and whatnot. They loved him. They loved him. Oprah Winfrey, fawning over him on her show. There's videotape of it. Would you ever consider running for president, Mr. Trump? He says, probably not, but he said, if I did it, I would do it to win. I mean, what was that? And then it just changed. And the narrative was set. We have got to make Trump a monster. We have got to make him the most evil man ever. And everything that Donald Trump has done, folks, whether you love him or hate him, for you haters out there, everything he has done has been to the benefit of the country, and he was right. Even in this last Iran thing, all right, World War III, he's causing World War III. Oh, no, he didn't get congressional approval, even though none of the Democrat presidents did. But no, we don't care about that. Trump needs to get, congressional approval. Yeah. Now there's a ceasefire. You know what? It worked. Once again, Donald Trump was right. He was right. So there's not going to be any World War III. Now we have to see how things play out, obviously. But it's looking pretty good right now. that bombing what he did in Iran worked. So it's just, when I look at his presidency, I'm more disappointed in the people that I don't want to say that I trusted, because that's a wrong word. Because again, we all have different ideas, different ways of doing things, and different opinions of all kinds of things. But just the rabidness and the hatred is just off the charts, and it's towards a man that has done nothing but try and make America better, make America great again. Well, what are you trying to say? America wasn't great? Well, not really. The last 4 years under Biden weren't so great. We don't even know who was running the country. We don't know who is signing executive orders or pardons. It's all in question, right? Inflation right now is at the lowest ever. Gas prices remain to be down. I got gas the other day for $2.35. When was the last time I got gas for $2.35? It wasn't the last 4 years. The economy is improving. Things are getting better. But you have a side that just want to attack at every turn, everything he does, everything he says, come under attack, because they just continue to want to destroy him. Now they're talking about impeachment. We're going to impeach. They want to impeach him again. But see, now there's an alternate media, like people like the Joe Rogans and the what's the sports guy? What's his name? Saying, what, you're talking impeachment again? I mean, you do know how old that is? Just go to it. We're going to impeach him. It's just crazy. And if they regain power in 2 years, they will impeach him again. It never ends. It never stops. Can you just imagine? I'll end with this. Can you just imagine what this country would be like? The winning that we would have done. Can you just imagine the success if people just backed him? Let him do what he said he's going to do. He's doing everything he said he was going to do when he ran for president. Let him do it. And if it fails, you know what? In 2 years and 4 years, you'll take over. But they can't let that happen, folks. They won't let that happen. And they'll never let it happen. God bless, my friends. Stay safe and stay smart. Take care.